Good day. Welcome to Rockland Talk Radio. I'm John Marino, and we are produced by Sharc Creative, made possible by a variety of people who work up and down throughout the Hudson Valley, like Robeson Oil, the house that Service built, by Michael Labriola, Landscape Design and Construction of Armonk in Westchester, and Hightower Westchester. They manage your wealth to a fiduciary standard all throughout the Hudson Valley, and by Jaguar Land Rover of the Hudson Valley. They are in New Rochelle, White Plains, and Mount Kisco, among other locales. Here on the Cup Joe Political Show, we are joined by Bill Weber. Bill Weber, just elected. He is the state senatorial elect to the 38th SSD, State Senatorial District in Rockland County. Now, this district right now is represented by Democrat Elijah Reichlin-Melnick. He was defeated on Election Day by Bill Weber. What is soon to be old district included a part of Westchester, up above 287, the Ossining Briarcliff Manor area. That's going to be out of the district. Now it will be a totally Rockland County district, totally in Rockland County, and that's it. Most of Rockland County will be now in the 38th SSD. We are joined by Bill Weber, who is elected by the voters of Rockland County on Election Day 2022. Bill Weber, first of all, congratulations. And secondly, this is, I guess, a take two. You getting elected this time around. You ran against Elijah Reichlin-Melnick a couple of years ago. You came up short then. You got 51% of the vote this time. I'm of the school of thought that says whether you win by 1 million votes or one vote, like the Republicans did in the House now, basically by a handful of votes, technically, it counts, and you won. And you learned that through the years. So now you're in the winner's seat.
Yes, we came up short 2 years ago in the 38th Senate District. The old district, I like to say, was gerrymandered. It included parts of Ossining and portions of Rockland County, but the portion of Westchester wasn't attached to Rockland County. It was kind of gerrymandered up in the Ossining Briarcliff Manor area of Westchester. So when the new maps came out, both the Democrats and the Republicans agreed that Rockland should have its own district minus Stony Point. There was some funny business that went on at the end. They kind of stuck Ossining back into the district. But when the judge in Steuben County ruled that the district lines were unconstitutional, they went back and redrew the lines. And actually, my district was one of the districts that both Republicans and Democrats had originally agreed upon to have just in Rockland County. So having the district just in Rockland County gave me a much better chance to win this race because Westchester County issues and residents are a lot different. Their needs are a lot different than the residents of Rockland County. And the area that got put into the district in Rockland is the town of Haverstraw, which is stone's throw away from where I live in the village of Montebello in the town of Ramapo. And knowing a lot of people, knowing the issues and concerns that the people in the town of Haverstraw have, which are the same issues that the rest of Rockland County had, it gave me a great opportunity to go speak with those voters there. And once we did that, once we ran our campaign, we came out on top, and we came out on top in a 2-to-1 Democratic district, getting outspent nearly 3-to-1 by my opponent. So
this new district basically has nothing from Westchester. It's totally Rockland County?
Correct. It's strictly Rockland County minus the town of Stony Point, but all Rockland County. And like I said, it's a 2-to-1 Democratic district. In some portions of it, it's 3-to-1. So our message was heard loud and clear by Democrats, Republicans, Independents, because we did very well in all areas of the town, and we're very thrilled to have won on election night.
What is that message that was the winner this time around?
What I'll tell you, and it was said broad-basely by the 15 to 20,000 doors that we actually knocked down in the district. People are concerned about affordability. The taxes are extremely high. We're one of the highest tax counties in the country. People are very concerned about inflation and the cost of everything going up. And quite frankly, people are afraid of crime. They're afraid with the bail, the detrimental impact of the bail reform law and a lot of the pro-criminal laws that have come out of Albany since 2019. We don't just feel it. We see it all the time on TV as well. We have a lot of residents in Rockland County that commute into New York City for work, for entertainment purposes. They'd love to travel on the train all the time. But quite frankly, it's unsafe. We see what everybody else sees. We see a very unsafe city, and we've seen crime in Rockland County go up to measures that we've never seen before. And the people that I spoke to were very concerned, and they felt that the representative in Albany, Elijah Melnick, who was, what I would consider someone who was on the progressive side of the Democratic Party, was doubling down on pro-criminal laws and really runaway spending in the state, two things that really directly impacted the quality of life of our residents.
Knocking on doors, you talked about that. How much does that make a difference during a campaign? Some say the Republicans nationally have to learn from the Democrats about getting out there, about interacting with people, no matter how it's done. You seem to have mastered that during this campaign. How did you do it, and how much of a difference does it make? How much do people appreciate you coming to them and saying, I understand?
Very much. I could tell you, I'm based on knocking on tremendous amount of doors. There were people that said, hey, no one's knocked on my door since Tom Morahan was in office. So, people really appreciated. People said, hey, I don't really follow politics that often, but, I'm so thrilled that you came to my door. I could ask you a couple of questions. But just the fact of interacting and know that someone's out there working hard for them to get their vote, to earn their trust, was immeasurable. And the nice thing we had is we had a very competitive congressional race with Mike Lawler. We had great candidates from Carl Brabenec, who ran for the 98th Assembly District. And we had John McGowan, who ran for Mike Lawler's old seat in the 97th. Our campaigns worked hand in hand. So when we went around and knocked on doors, we were knocking on doors for each of the various campaigns, which made our campaign time well spent. And we were able to not have to necessarily double back at certain homes, but we ran it efficiently. And I think it made the difference. I think knocking on it, people get mailers all the time. People see TV, people listen to radio. And a lot of those mailers go in the garbage, and a lot of the TV are just attack ads that people tune out. But when you go knock on the door, statistically, they say the conversion rate to a voter that's persuadable to your side goes up immeasurably when you knock on their door. And listen, like you said, a win is a win, 51%, 49. We ended up winning, I think, 52-48. But every vote mattered. And in races that we've seen in Rockland, and even you look at congressional races in Colorado, every vote matters.
Bill Weber is the state Senate-elect, 38th State Senatorial District here in Rockland County on Rockland Talk Radio. I'm John Marino, and this is the Cup of Joe political show. Bill Weber, you referenced Assemblyman Mike Lawler now getting elected to Congress, defeating Sean Patrick Maloney. How much of a difference did this make for you, for Mike Lawler doing what he did and Lee Zeldin coming as close as he did to Kathy Hochul? Many pundits on both sides say what Lee Zeldin did, getting out the Republican vote, may not have won the governorship for him, but certainly may have helped turn the tide in Congress to the GOP side.
It was very helpful. I mean, you could just look at the districts statewide, and you could see how well the Republicans did. Lee Zeldin, I thought, ran a great race, and I'm disappointed that he didn't win. But I think he's shown that a Republican with a common sense message, who works very hard, can win this state. And maybe in 4 years we'll have somebody. Maybe it's Lee. Maybe it's somebody else. He's shown them the path on how to win, and it means hard work. It's talking to the voters, but it also means going into areas that Republicans, I believe, have done a poor job over the years. Republicans haven't done a great job reaching out to the African-American community, to the Hispanic community. I thought Lee Zeldin did a very effective job doing that, and something that I've always done and done in my campaigns, because, if you don't go in and talk to every single voter, why should they vote for you? So I think going into those areas gives us an opportunity to put together a broad-based coalition, because, in New York State, being a Republican, we're always going to be outspent. We're at a voter registration disadvantage, and we always will be, which means we have to work harder as Republicans to win. But in Rockland County, we've seen the success of Ed Day winning, of George Holman winning in Clarkstown, Teresa Kenny winning in Orangetown, Jim Monahan winning in Stony Point, and town councilmen in all of those towns winning as Republicans. And I like to say as common sense, reasonable people, Republicans, people that the average voter wouldn't even know if they're a Republican or a Democrat. They just know that they're very hard workers, that they run the town and the county efficiently. And that's the kind of mentality that I want to bring to Albany, because I need to get things done quickly. And I'm a solutions-oriented person, not an ideologue, but someone who wants to do the right thing and help all the elected people in Rockland, whether they're Democrat or Republican, because I'm here to represent everybody here in Rockland County.
As soon as you get to Albany, what do you plan to get done?
Well, what I want to immediately get done is I want to get the bail reform bill repealed. I think it's had a detrimental impact. It's made our streets less safe. It's put our cops' lives at risk, and it's something that's directly impacting the quality of life. That has to be dealt with. Secondly, we've seen over the last 2 years, state spending has increased by over $40 billion. And we're now facing what the governor has said from her own budget department, that we're going to be facing a $13.5 billion budget shortfall over the next 5 years. You know, that's disappointing, especially when New York State got bailed out by the federal government. What they did is what politicians normally do. They got a pot of money and they blew through it and didn't really use what I call practical and reasonable budget priorities. So the budget has to get under control. As someone who's been a CPA in New York State since 1994 and a CFO for a small business for the last 20 years, I believe I have something to offer in that budgetary process to come in at it from a different point of view, to show them that the vital services that are needed in all parts of this state and this county can be done, but it's got to be done in a responsible way so that people in this district and in this state stop leaving the state, because right now they can't afford to live here. And we see people by the thousands leaving the state every day. If we don't make the appropriate changes now, we'll continue to see our tax base being eroded. And unfortunately, you'll see people's taxes going up. I think we need to have strike a great balance in Albany, and I think it can be done. It's just got to be looked at differently.
Sometimes I ask someone who may have lost a race the first time, they come back a few years after and they win, what did you learn from the last time around? And I get this answer sometimes. None of your business. You think I'm going to tell you? What did you learn since 2020?
What I did learn is winning it feels a lot better than losing. But what I can tell you is that what I did is I looked at the things that we did right and the things that we did wrong in the campaign. You know, I'm not a seasoned politician. I'm someone from the private sector. Did I make mistakes in my campaign? Sure. Did I not spend the resources in right areas? Did I not knock on enough doors? Absolutely. This time I really took the lessons that I learned of coming up short and utilized those to my advantage. You know, getting into the race 2 years ago, I had gotten in a little late. George Holman was going to run for the seat, decided not to. At the time, I didn't get the conservative line. I had gotten what's called the Wilson Kukula from the state party, but we didn't have enough time to get the signatures to get on the conservative ballot line, because at the time during COVID, the governor shut down the petition process. So we knew we had a few thousand votes that were undervoted for people that wanted to vote for me on the conservative line. But, you know, we made sure we got the conservative line. Obviously, I was on the Republican line. But, you know, having run for office before and having been involved in the community as a Boy Scout leader, someone on the Rockland County Youth Board, someone on the Mental Health Association Board, being involved in a lot of other nonprofit areas, most people in my area and people that have known me don't know me as Republican Bill. They know me as Bill Weber. You know, they know my wife, who's the assistant superintendent for Suffern Central. We're very active. We've built up trust among people so that Democrats and Republicans felt comfortable voting for me, because they know that going to Albany won't change me. They know that I have, you know, the qualities that are needed by a politician to go to Albany, and they have the trust in me. So I didn't have to build the trust factor up. I just had to make sure that I reached out to people in the other towns that may not have known me.
The personal touch goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
Bill Weber is the 38th State Senate District senatorial elect. He'll take office in January. He defeated Elijah Reichland-Melnick, the incumbent Democrat. Bill Weber, a Republican. Congratulations to you. All the best. Good luck up in Albany. I hear it's tough up there.
Listen, it's tough up there, but as I like to tell people, I'm not going up there to make friends. I'm not going up there to be part of the good old boys club. I'm going up there with focus and direction, knowing that my term is only 2 years. So that means I need to utilize every second that I have up there to make an effective difference and really make sure that I spend quality time in my district. You know, a lot of politicians go to Albany and they get lost up there and they think that's where everything happens. But I need to be back in the district listening to my constituents' concerns and really bringing those concerns and trying to be a problem solver up in Albany.
Bill Weber, again, congrats to you. We'll talk again. Bill Weber here on the Cup of Joe political show, Rockland Talk Radio. I'm John Marino, and we are produced by Sharc Creative, made possible by Robeson Oil, the house that service built. Also by a variety of people who work throughout the Hudson Valley, like Robeson, Michael Labriola, Landscape Design and Construction of Armonk in Westchester. Also by Hightower Westchester, managing your wealth throughout the Hudson Valley to a fiduciary standard, and by Jaguar Land Rover of the Hudson Valley. They're in places like New Rochelle, White Plains, and Mount Kisco. Catch all of our Rockland, Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, Orange, and Fairfield County Talk Radio programming on our YouTube channel, Sharc Creative YouTube, and yes, we are now on Apple Podcasts too.